Now we'll be starting with technical session 3. I would like to call upon Ajay Gupta sir for his presentation.
Myself, Assistant Professor Ajay Gupta, Faculty in BMS Department of TSDC, presenting a research paper, a study of social entrepreneurship in India. Abstract social entrepreneurship has become the buzzword in India and around the world. In nature, people have found the concept of philanthropy to be afraid. Practically, entrepreneurship is associated with economic operations that are strictly profit-oriented, while ignoring social advantages or social well-being. In recent years, the notion has taken a new identity and shapes, and it gains acceptance in broader range of functions. Some of the India's most important organizations have embraced this way of doing business and help to impact the society in very beneficial way. Keywords: social entrepreneurship, social innovations, social needs, social entrepreneurs, economic entrepreneurs. Objective of the study. The objective of the research paper study have been chosen to keep the importance and rationality of the research tightly in the mind. Objective of the study: to learn the fundamentals of social entrepreneurship, to draw attention to the roles and responsibilities of social entrepreneurs in Indian society, to research the total impact of social entrepreneurship and social entrepreneurship in India. Introduction. Entrepreneurship is the driving force behind economic progress and economic development that occurs is solely due to the dominant force of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship was initially utilized in business, economic context by the French economics Ricard Cantillon in 18th century, who related with business risks and uncertainty period. The primary goal of social entrepreneurship differs from the conventional goals of entrepreneurship in that it combines social and the economic rewards. After that, research methodology. Research paper totally based upon the variety of secondary source, various papers and publications such as agency report, such as CII, FICCI, public available reports from the government agencies such as the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Research publications on related issues. Taking certain information from the websites connected to the issues were employed. Websites and publications, materials of social enterprises operating in India and the world. Conclusion: social entrepreneurship has the potential to transform the face of society in India. There have been several examples and initiatives that have been operated under the banner of social entrepreneurship and have proved to be life-changing of individuals in the surrounding area. This is all are my reference. Thank you everyone.
Thank you so much Ajay Gupta sir for your presentation. It was an amazing presentation. Now I would like to call upon Miss Janvi Devgania for her presentation.
Hello, this is Janvi Devgania from TYBMS, and I'm here to present my research paper. A moment until I share my PPT. Yes. So the title of my research paper is to study role of positioning in entrepreneurship development. My mentor is Ajay sir, and I'm from Thakur Shyamnarayan Degree College. Now, let us get to the basics of my research paper. As we are familiar with the STP approach, which is segmenting, targeting, and positioning, I have chosen the most crucial level in this approach, which is positioning of a brand or a service in the market. Over here, clearly, as we can see, I am here to distinguish a bit between an entrepreneur and a businessman. So, the word entrepreneur is derived from a French verb, which is entreprendre, and when it is translated to English, it means to undertake a task. So, the difference between an entrepreneur and a businessman is a businessman has is running a business which is already established, whereas for an entrepreneur, he has to start from the root of a business to carry out its business activities. So according to me, it is important for businessman and entrepreneur both, but it is on a comparison level, it is more important for an entrepreneur to adopt a positioning strategy. And what happens after you've adopted a positioning strategy? It helps creating a unique position, not only in the market but also in the mindsets, in the minds of the customers, in the minds of people. And the concept of positioning very nearly relates to the concept of individualism. What is individualism? A person should be recognizable even in the crowds of thousands. So if you have something unique to to show, that's how you prove your individuality. So for in the same way, a product or a brand should have a positioning strategy through which it can prove its individuality. The objectives of this research paper are to understand the mindsets of businessmen uh, and entrepreneurs regarding positioning of their brand. What do they think about uh, they should consider positioning their brand or not, and to also understand the mindsets of consumers when they were asked to choose one brand amongst the others. Now, this is where we get forward with the research methodology. The methodology for this paper has been primary data, where my respondents were asked. I had shared a questionnaire, and the respondents were asked to choose one brand amongst the others. For example, if I give them a commodity like sugar, then which brand they thought of first when they heard the word sugar. So, for which I understood their mindsets, the mindsets of customers when they were asked to choose one brand. What happened when I understood this uh, questionnaire was how positioning has carved in their minds, how the brand has carved in their minds through its positioning strategy. And an established practice was followed for this particular research. So, as I said, the research was totally based on primary data. So, I had circulated 8 set of questions, from which the first question read as, which brand comes in your mind first when you read the word toothpaste? So, as we all already know, but still, Colgate gets the maximum vote of recognizing itself in this commodity, followed by Pepsodent and Patanjali, whereas in this commodity, Sensodyne was not much recognizable by the people. Now, fun fact: in some cases, Colgate is has also become a synonym for toothpaste. People in remote areas or even in urban areas no more call or ask for a toothpaste. They normally go for Colgate. So that shows how strong identity the brand Colgate has. The next question was, which milk brand comes in your mind first? And unquestionably, Amul wins this set of question, followed by Mother Dairy, and Nestle and Britannia were not recognizable by the consumers. Next question goes as, which brand comes in your mind first when you read the word coffee? Obviously, Nescafe wins the maximum vote, followed by Starbucks and Davidoff, and also some part of the Indian Bean. Now, amongst all these coffee brands, I am aware that the brand Davidoff has the most has the more authentic taste to it, but one of the factor, which is the price, is where Nescafe wins the hearts of Indians, because Davidoff is expensive as compared to Nescafe. So in further slides we'll also understand how only not positioning might help, how not having a positioning strategy might not really help in winning hearts of people. The next question is, which airline company comes in your mind first? Air India gets the maximum votes, followed by Indigo, SpiceJet, and Vistara. Air India is one of the most oldest airline company in India, and it is also the flag barrier airline company of India. Next question was, they were asked whether the choices that they made, the choices in the previous questions they made, did they think that it came as a reflex to them? Like when you talk about toothpaste, the next word comes is Colgate. So it came as a reflex to them because it has created USP, which is unique selling proposition in the market, and maximum almost 90% of people agreed that yes, all these products have a USP in them which comes as a reflex to them, and 10% of people disagreed. Maybe they have some other opinions. The next question was, which element or feature of the product or the service makes you buy it often? Surprisingly, quality is what concerns a consumer more, and the next option was a combination of all of them: quality, tagline and its advertisement, packaging, discounts and offers. Ideally it should have been the combination of all these at the topmost, but for consumers in this questionnaire, quality was the first and foremost feature that makes them buy a product more often. Next question: when asked if positioning of a product or service affects the sales and directly its profit both negatively and positively, the response was yes. Most of them thought that yes, positioning does affect sales and it's obviously its profit both negatively and positively. Some people were unsure about it because maybe they have another opinion, and around 3% of the respondents disagreed with the statement. Last question was, they had to give their opinion on a statement which read as, every entrepreneur has to create a strategy in order to position its product and services. And fortunately, very happily, I am proud to say that all of the respondents agreed with 100% yes that every entrepreneur has to create a strategy in order to position its product and services. So, with this, what do we understand with the concept of positioning? First, in positioning strategy, the product has to have a characteristic, a unique feature that could add value to the company. Second is price. The product price should be reasonable. It should be competitive but also reasonable. Second is quality. As we just saw, most of the consumers thought of quality as the first feature and then tagline or then discounts and etc. Product use and application. Now, in some products, even if your product is very uh, famous in the market, but it should have a particular manual through which it is easier for the customer to know how to use it. It guides them more easier. Competitors. You need to understand your competitors better, because when you analyze your competitor, you know their weaknesses, and therefore you can master in the market well. And with this, I have a few suggestions for positioning of a brand or a service or a product in the market. Is with positioning, you determine your company's uniqueness and you compare yourself with the competitors. You can identify your current position in the market, competitor positioning analysis, and you develop a positioning strategy. For example, if we take McDonald's, in its advertisements, it indirectly points to its customers saying we have a very a bigger burger patty, we add more sauces, we add more vegetables to the burger. And whenever we think of fast food, McDonald's is always at the top. And McDonald's has its position in the market as the most efficient fast food company, is that it also alters itself according to its cultural background. As we all know, it's an American company, and initially McDonald's used to sell chicken and beef patties, but when it came to India, it understood that it cannot sell beef patties because cows are considered as holy in India. So therefore they introduced veg burgers for the first time in its functioning. They introduced veg burgers in India only so that the Indians could also accept it as a brand. So, yes, so positioning is important, but also looking after other factors like price, understanding your competitors, understanding what your positioning strategy means. Is it comprehensive to the customers or not? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Janvi Devgania, for your presentation. Now, I would like to call upon Miss Shania D'Souza for her presentation.
Hello, myself Shana D'Souza, and my topic for today is Entrepreneurship Development Process in India. This is the abstract. The concept of entrepreneurship development involves equipping a person with the required information and knowledge of the structure. So, in my abstract, we are going to cover up the entrepreneurship development process in India, the role of entrepreneurship develop, how it works, the program including it, and the economic growth of a nation, and even the government of the India supports for innovation, and how does the government support for the innovation and entrepreneurship in India. We're going to talk about this. Covers up the full process of development in India, the role of entrepreneurship development, and how the economic growth of a nation and government support for entrepreneurship. Next slide. So We come to the first topic of Introduction to Entrepreneurship Development. Entrepreneurship development refers to the process of enhancing entrepreneurship job and knowledge through the training and institution. Entrepreneurship development focuses on citizens who wish to start or expand a business. Entrepreneurship shapes the economic destiny of nation by creating wealth and employment, offering products and services and generating taxes for the government, because of which entrepreneurship has closely been linked to the economic growth of the country. Entrepreneurship development is for the processing of entrepreneur who wants to build up new idea, who wants to start up their own idea. There are many entrepreneurship in India who wants to do many business, but due to some reason they cannot do. So development of their process, how they want to develop their business into globally competitive exam. Next. Objectives. So today's research report and my research, we are going to see the objective is to study the entrepreneurship development process in India, to highlight the role of entrepreneurship development programs in the economic growth of the nation, to see the challenges faced by the different entrepreneur before starting up, to study how the government of India supports the innovation and entrepreneurship in India. Next slide. First, the entrepreneurship development process in India, how it started, what was it this by Professor David McLean was the individual who intentionally completed in Canada primarily on business improvement preparing the mid 1960s. He guessed that the requirement of high accomplishment was a fundamental part of the rise of business people and that it was very well created. He tried to do different kind of circulations in many programs in Hyderabad and Bombay and in Barcelona and Spain. But the outcome it was so feasible to foster show people and uneducated obsessed and other non-business network into a business visionary and assist them to setting up and working their undertaking and relevant preparing and encouraging the institution. With all this 3 month process, they all made up to come together in the program in Gujarat. They developed it during the 1969 and 1970s. The program was intended by a new incline towards the business people who had in active pioneer possibility. The program, which started as a premium by Gujarat State Industrial Corporation, began acquiring, promoting a public situation in the mid 70s, and that's how they all come up into a conclusion, finally brought up the entrepreneurship development in Ahmedabad in 1979. It was an essential particular association of the sort of the country, fundamentally and committed to tasks of business headway. Here we see the roles and relevance of entrepreneurship development program in the economic growth of the nation. First is set up business and open door. EDI development is for business to set up different opportunity for people to come up, to expand in India, to come up. There are so many people who don't have a less job, but due to entrepreneurship builds up to get people more job, more opportunity. The more job, more opportunity, the more their higher standard of living increases. It also helps in achieving balanced regional development. Effective ED helps with speeding up the speed of industrialization in retrograde region and helps in diminishing the centralization of financial power and the process of in the possession of a person. Hinders modern slum. ED improves programs, helps in the slums area and the modern area where people don't know about it, who want to get a chance of it, who wants to get up more of it. If they develop, set up their business in the slum area so that people get more opportunity and their also standard of increases. Utilization of local resources. EDI can also help in appropriate utilization of locally accessible assets by giving legitimate preparation, direction, and schooling to possible business people. Next slide. Here we come of the challenges faced by the Indian entrepreneur before they start up. So what all they are facing, the challenges, it's not so easy to start an entrepreneurship. You need a lot of support. You need the land, you need the capital, you need labor, you need major five is land capital, machinery, and they are not so much easy to get up for an entrepreneurship, and he has to make a mentally decision out of it. So the first point we see about self-reliance to move into a business. Starting your endeavor is scientifically not simple. It's not simple to start up, but if your mind and mentally more challenge is strong, that you want to have those goals into a business, and you can do anything. For starting up, raising capital. Money is the greatest test to look at by the business visionary. So capital is very main important. If you don't have capital, you cannot start any business. So entrepreneur has to make sure that he has a capital, certain capital amount itself. Recruiting the right ability after he has everything, the capital, the land. For the business process to start his business, to grow his business, he needs the correct people around him. He needs the correct ability to make his work properly done. In making his strategy, his process, his advertising, his marketing, he needs the right skills, his right training progress so that he can grow his business more and more fun. Comforting failure. Not each not you thought of the requirement of work with the lens starting is because not always the right step to make in the beginning. In the beginning, always there is some ups and downs. In the starting, may take a huge decision to make a huge step. It really need a lot of things in starting up their ideas. In the beginning, it's most of the entrepreneurs do fail because of taking the wrong decision. They are the comforting failure. Next, we see how the government supports for innovation and entrepreneurship in India. The government of India has undertaken the several initiative and institute policy measures to foster a culture of innovation and entrepreneurship in country. Job creation is a foremost challenge faced by India. With a significant and unique demographic advantage, India, however, has an immense potential to innovate raise of entrepreneur and it also creates a job for benefit of the nation and the world. In the recent year, widespread new program and opportunity to culture innovation has been created by the government of India across several sectors, from engaging with academic, industrial, investors, small and big entrepreneurship, non-government organization to the most underserved section of society, recognizing the importance of women entrepreneurship and economic participation is enable the country to grow and prosperity. The government of India has ensured that all policy initiatives are geared towards enabling equal opportunity for women. This is the finding. 66% of entrepreneurs have started their business with their own idea. Social media is the main used platform to advertise a business. Entrepreneurs have made their passion to choose their own business. 50% of the company helps the community where it is located. 66% of entrepreneurs have not let their client down. Conclusion: the business visionary, with his vision and capacity is to bear, can change the financial of the country. In India, beyond a couple of many years, have seen a significant ascent in the space of entrepreneurship. Today, India has turned into a ripe ground for rearing a new business visionary. A significant part of the business in India is social business venture in India, where significantly degree of needless jobless skills still exists. What we want us to do is to establish a climate where business visionary feels certain that they won't confront any snags among themselves. The business has down in the consideration of policymaker in India. A progression of significant level drives including startup of India. There are many startups in India. There are even many business people fail to come up in life, but still be they also have the capacity to do it by failing only we come up with conclusion. There are many opportunity of government also support the entrepreneurship. They give little some amount to the business so that local people can also set up. There are many schemes for them to do it. As I conclude this. As I suggest that there should be for them they should have strong capital and money market should be developed. Cooperation and coordination should be developed between the public and the private sector. Tax structure should be made favorable to the entrepreneur because there are sometimes when the taxes are high for the entrepreneurship and other there may be some changes failing or discrimination between the different entrepreneurship. Tax structure should be efforts should be made to maintain economic stability in the country. Desired improvement should be incorporated into various economic policies. Efforts should be made for bringing favorable social, culture, and ideology changes in the society. These are the reference. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Shania D'Souza, for your presentation. Now, Mr. Krishendu Duwari will be presenting his presentation.
My name is Krishnendu Duwari, roll number 15, and my topic is Effect of Skills Execution on Entrepreneurship Development. Abstract. This study aims at investigate whether moderating factors such as self-motivation and social influence and skill execution from resulting to enterprise creation. A survey and a proportionate stratified random sampling was adopted to collect data from a sample of data analysts. One of the results revealed that the self-motivation and the moderate between the skill execution and the entrepreneurship development among the study recommend that more counseling from parents, university, government, and the other stakeholders will be given to the youth greater interest in the enterprise creation. The result revealed that the entrepreneurial skill dimension have a significant effect on the youth employment. Opportunity recognition has a significant positive effect on the skill execution of graduates in the public universities. Keywords: skill execution, self-motivation, social influence, entrepreneurship development. Introduction: the many countries of the world have come realized to the import of the entrepreneurship in the economic development through creativity, innovation, job creation, and contribution to the gross domestic product. It has initiated the various enterprise development programs to encourage citizens, especially the youth, to the venture into enterprise creation. Such programs include the introduction of entrepreneurship courses into the curriculum of the many tertiary education institutions in the country. This is due to the fact that the skill execution have been proved to lead to enterprise creation in the many countries of the world. Literature review: job creation, skill execution, theoretical framework, entrepreneurship development. Job creation: the process for providing new jobs, especially for people who are unemployed, the government job strategy. Skill execution: the ability to learn or acquire it involves the development of a new skill, practice of a new way by doing things, usually gained through training or experience. Theoretical framework: the various theories on the entrepreneurship have proved insight into the entrepreneurial behavior. The general idea is that individuals will activate their entrepreneurial potential if there is environmental possibilities and also if they have a social support. Entrepreneurship education equips individuals with adequate skills to successful in life. Entrepreneurship development. Entrepreneurship development skills as a knowledge or competence which is demonstrated by action. Skills are abilities to perform in a certain way. With skills are the words competence and the abilities. A literature search on the skill, competence, or abilities reveal that the skill can be classified into the four categories, namely personal, teaching, business operation, and management skills. Main content as per topic. Skill execution. The corporate leader in the industry, business, and the government have came to realize that the importance of the skill training in the entrepreneurship development as well as enhancing the business success. Self-motivation. The enterprise creation depend one's prepared mindset or an intention, and it depend on one's personality and the abilities. A positive influence between the skill execution and enterprise creation. Social influence. The society perception about and the attitudes toward entrepreneurship is poor where the pre-received social environment has a positive impact on the students. Entrepreneurship development it is the mean of enhancing the knowledge and the skills of entrepreneurs through the several classroom coaching program and training. Methodology: a quantitative approach with a proportionate stratified random sampling and the structured mailed questionnaires of the entrepreneurship university graduates who have received a skill training on the business startup was adopted. A quantitative approach with a proportionate stratified random sampling was structured. Male questionnaire or the entrepreneurship university graduate who had received the skill training or business startup was selected. The benchmark of the 2009 was chosen because the previous studies have found that the 5-year period was enough for aspiring the entrepreneur to start business after graduation after work experience. Conclusion: the study found that the skill execution has a positive effect on the entrepreneurship development and that the self-motivation, the moderator between the skill execution and the entrepreneurship development. The study discovered that the most of the graduates have a low risk-taking. Again, it has observed that some students only go to university to acquire academic degree, but their mindset are difficult to change. Suggestion: industry-oriented planning. Although the efforts are being made through the country for planned economy and the developed planning needs to be made industry-oriented so that the rapid industrialization may be encouraged and the national goal may also be achieved. Facility and the incentives. Adequate and the proper facility and the incentives should be provided to the new entrepreneur for establishing the industries and the implementing the innovation. Formulation of a favorable environment. Infrastructure facilities should be developed for the entrepreneurship development. Land, electricity, water, raw material should be made available for entrepreneur at a cheap rate by constructing the industry estate. Favorable entrepreneurship should also be created and making improvement in the social environment. And here is my reference. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Krishendu Duwari, for your presentation. Now, Mr. Aditendra Dubey will be presenting his presentation.
Common traits in entrepreneurs that enhances high performance culture in the business. Hello everyone, this is Aditendra Dubey of class TY BMS from Thakur Shyamnarayan Degree College, and I am here to address you all with this topic. The study examines common traits in entrepreneurs that enhances high performance culture. It analyzes how entrepreneurial traits and behaviors affects business environment and employees' efficiency for higher performance as well as productivity. The motive behind this research paper is absolutely clear. It is to find out why very few entrepreneurs and their organizations in the business fraternity are so successful, to learn about the traits common in those entrepreneurs, and to comprehend these traits or rituals that creates an environment to enhance high performance culture. Traits highly common in successful entrepreneurs. First is vision. Simon Sinek, the British American author, says that vision is an idea when backed by action turns into a purpose. And it is very essential to have a vision because it acts as a map, and so you are aware of where you're going in life. Obsessiveness. See, for some people, obsessiveness is intrinsic, and for some people, it is out of passion for the work. See, the bottom line is obsession, and that obsessiveness towards your work is very important. You should be aware of what you're obsessive about and should work towards it. Leadership. See, according to me, great leaders are not those who create great ideas. Instead, they are those who create an environment where great ideas can be born, where great ideas can be discovered. Specialized knowledge. See, successful entrepreneurs are great learners, and this is because they see their goal more as a necessity. So everything they comprehend is related to their purpose. And knowledge doesn't mean some writing stuff or information. It means personal observation, social interactions or communications, public seminars or courses, etc. Imagination. See, imagination, this part is very well explained in the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. The book says that there are two types of imagination. One is synthesized and the second is creative. Synthesized imagination is an imagination that brings out something new out of the information which is already stored in your brain. Creative imagination is something which generates something unique, something innovative. And it is this faculty of the brain, the creative imagination, which is mainly focused on and is developed by the successful people. Next is organized planning. See, successful entrepreneurs are super organized. They are highly punctual. They review their day-to-day tasks so that they can verify how productive they have been in that particular day. And most importantly, successful entrepreneurs are aware of what to quit and what to stick with. Next is decision making. See, in order to be successful, it's not necessary that you have to be quick, you have to be prompt. It's important to have that calculative and analytical sound decision in a short span of time. And I think this is one of the factors which due to which people are so successful, but if not developed, it is one of the prime reasons why where people fail so much. The last point is persistence. So there's a saying by Napoleon Hill that the ladder at the top is never crowded. What it means is, in order to attain great fortune, great success, you have to put in consistent daily hard work so that that faith can be induced in the process and you can achieve your goals. Coming on to the next part of my presentation, it's habits or rituals that enhances high performance culture in the business. Following are the 6 habits of successful entrepreneurs that enhances high performance culture. First is high performers have clear goals. High performers maintain their health, and this point is also supported by neuroscience, as doing any physical or mental activity develops that prefrontal cortex of the brain, or in simple words, it develops brain cells that enhances your learning capacity. High performers utilize inner and outer anticipations. High performers stay highly focused. High performing entrepreneurs exercise gratitude. And sixth one is high performers are adventurous. That is, they never step back from taking high risk because they are aware of the risk that they're going to take, but at the same time, they're aware of the benefits and the outcome that's going to come if they succeed in that particular space, in that particular path. Literature review. The purpose behind this research is absolutely simple. It's to find out how do a very small count of entrepreneurs in the business fraternity are so successful. I have chosen secondary method to give justice to this topic, reason being the topic itself, which is very prevalent as a discussion in the business fraternity and essential as well. I have gone through educational, business and entrepreneurial websites. I have also referred to a 2017 article which was published in the month of November by Harvard University students. I have also referred to a few books that such as Think and Grow Rich, Start with Why and High Performance Habits. It is these books that have helped me to comprehend the topic deeply. Research methodology. My approach for this topic was to split it into 3 research statements. That is, how rich people become so wealthy, traits which are highly common in successful entrepreneurs, and habits or rituals that enhances high performance culture in the business. I had used secondary method for my thesis as I have mentioned it earlier, and collected majorly qualitative and quantitative data through multiple websites. I have synthesized my content slightly in a descriptive way and analyzed the data thematically to interpret the patterns in a concise way. Also, some sections of the research paper are based on my own standpoint. Conclusion. Consequently, in order to enhance high performance culture and attain entrepreneurial success, one needs to develop a skill of building remarkable trust among the employees. It is essential to create a productive environment where employees can generate great ideas and productive ideas as well. And most importantly, one needs to have this clear sense of vision, because it is this clarity that helps them to meet with people who finds themselves as a good fit into your organization, and it is this clarity that helps you to meet with people who believe in what you believe and are ready to work for something bigger than themselves. Sincere and special thanks to my professor, Mr. Ajay Gupta, for his kind assistance in this presentation and research paper as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Aditendra Dubey, for your presentation. Now, Ms. Cressida Fernandez will be presenting her presentation.
My topic for today is to study the overall managerial skills essential for entrepreneurship development. Introduction. An entrepreneur is a person who handles and runs the entire organization. In short, an entrepreneur is also a manager who manages the entire business. And management is not a very simple task. It requires knowledge, experience, and many other skills. In order to run the business successfully, an entrepreneur requires these managerial skill sets. The objectives of this research paper are: it aims to develop an entrepreneur to work and run the organization effectively and efficiently. It focuses on the overall development for the entrepreneur. Aims to help in the growth of an economy through the development of an entrepreneur. It helps to maintain a good relation with people within the firm as well as outside the firm. What are managerial skills? When we talk about managerial skills, we are talking about the knowledge and the ability of an individual in a managerial position that can fulfill some specific management activities or tasks. This knowledge and this ability can either be learned or practiced. This skill helps to maintain high efficiency in the way one's employees complete their everyday working tasks. An entrepreneur needs this skill to help him manage the people in his firm as well as the technology and ensure the smooth running of the business. As per Robert Katz, he identifies three types of managerial skills. Those are technical skills, conceptual skills, human or interpersonal skills. Now let's see in detail what these skills actually mean. Technical skills. These skills are the ability and the practical knowledge that one needs to have so as to perform certain tasks. Technical skills are not only related to machine production of tools or equipments, but it also means the skills that will be required to increase sales, design different types of products and services, and to help market these products and services. These skills are usually used in programming a particular model, accounting, data analysis, and information technology. Conceptual skills. Ability of an individual wherein he or she can detect or analyze the problem. These skills help to evaluate the problem and find an alternate solution. Conceptual skills are the skills that enable an individual to identify, conceptualize, and solve intricate problems. These skills are important in a workplace so that a professional can think and work through abstract ideas and come up with multiple solutions to complex issues. Human or interpersonal skills. These skills are the ability of an individual to work in harmony in a group with others. These skills are important so as the entrepreneur can help build a relation with his employees and help them to work effectively to run the organization. There are other skills that also help an entrepreneur to keep good relation with his employees and to succeed in business. It is not only with his employees these skills can be used, but also with the stakeholders of the company, the investors, and other people outside the firm. These skills are as follows. Communication skill. The ability to transfer information either verbally, non-verbally, or through written communication with other people outside the company as well as inside for the benefit of the company. It can either be, it is called the sharing of information so as to build trust and harmony within the organization as well as outside the organization. Delegation of work. The process where things are done, get done quickly through others. Your delegation of work doesn't only mean that we are giving the task to the person or delegating the work, assigning the work, but it means to assign the work to the right specific individual having the qualities, qualifications, and the right skills to solve the appropriate work. Problem solving. Problem solving means to find the particular problem in the plan, to detect the problem, understand the root cause of the problem, find a perfect solution at the right time so as no harm is occurred to the business. Team building. Getting all the employees together for an effective running of the task. Team building helps helps everyone to get together and work towards a common goal or a purpose. Domain knowledge. A knowledge of a specific or a specialized discipline in a field in contrast to general knowledge. People with this domain knowledge have a high knowledge in that particular field and they are called as experts or specialized a specialist in that particular field. Conclusion. As per the findings of this research paper, majority agree that managerial skills are very essential for an entrepreneur so as that he can run the business effectively and efficiently. For smooth running of the business, managerial skills can be put into play. Here, an entrepreneur can either maintain a healthy working environment through the help of managerial skills. He can build these skills and develop not only as an entrepreneur but also as an individual. Many believe that managerial skill is truly an essential part to run an organization. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Cressida Fernandez, for your presentation. It was an amazing presentation. Now, Mr. Parth Gandhi will be presenting his presentation.
Good morning. My name is Parth Gandhi. My mentor is Professor Ajay Gupta, and my research paper is regarding effects of pandemic on financial sector of India. So the COVID-19 pandemic is the most serious challenges faced by our financial sector in nearly a century. The businesses were shutting down and were seeking more financial help. In a country like India, which is already a developing country, faced too many obstacles. During the pandemic, the most affected people were laborers, people who had small scale businesses, and many businesses were short of cash or they had a very little cash in hand. Banks are a very important part of the Indian economy since they provide funds to corporate and individuals. The banks were highly affected during the pandemic. The Indian stock market crashed after the announcement of the lockdown in the country on 24th March 2020. RBI faced liquidity issues and reduced its repo rate since people were struggling to repay the loan. In this research paper, we discuss various factors such as lockdown approach, Indian stock market, loan moratorium, different impacts in banking and financial services. Further, I have given some recommendations to uh, control the situation so that the financial services can continue with the less negative impact, which would help for better services to the customer and minimal revenue to the financial organization. So the COVID-19 started to spread on December 2019 from Wuhan city in China. Now today the whole world is affected by this disease. My research is based upon the pandemic effects on financial sector. It will be including banks, stock market, businesses, etc., etc. The most of the research done here is secondary. The research paper will be covering the effects of pandemic on financial sector. The COVID-19 pandemic was a big challenge faced by all of us. Banks were highly affected. The banking industry is the backbone of Indian economy. There are 34 banks in India, 12 public and 22 private. Public sector includes State Bank of India, Bank of Baroda, etc. And private sector includes HDFC and ICICI. The biggest problem faced by banks during pandemic were bad debts. Since the firm stopped working and there was no revenue, they failed to repay the loans which they had taken. RBI, there were many decisions that RBI brought in. Yes, sorry. That targeted long-term repo operation. This decision helped in liquidity with the banks. This liquidity was CP, investment grade corporate bonds, and non-convertible debentures specified by banks. Second were cash reserve ratio. The RBI announced CRR reduced by 100 bps or 1% to 3%. CRR is the minimum amount which commercial banks have to hold as reserves with central bank. Working capital interest. 3 months interest moratorium was permitted to all the lending institutions. However, the moratorium with what we talk in India is related to COVID-19. On 27th March, the RBI announced and permitted all commercial banks, including regional and rural, to allow a moratorium of 3 months of payments of EMIs for the loans outstanding as on March 2020. The stock markets. There are two major stock market exchanges in India: Bombay Stock Exchange and National Stock Exchange. During the period, Nifty fell up to 38%, resulting 27% loss in the stock market from beginning of this year. The above figure, the figure which is given is the daily chart of Nifty during the fall. As the government announced such a lockdown policy, various economic activities have stopped suddenly. The financial market of India witnessed sharp volatility as a result of the disruption of the global market. The rapid spread of the unprecedented COVID-19 pandemic has put the world and changed the global outlook unexpectedly. The financial market has responded with dramatic movement and were adversely affected. Investors were suffering sufficient losses due to fear and uncertainty. Now the export. Export is very important for a country's growth. When the domestic market is small, foreign market gives opportunity to achieve economy of scale and growth. Export enables certain countries to achieve export-led growth. Now, why a country needs export to increase? To import capital goods, to earn foreign exchange, to reduce foreign loans. It is used for the defense, to correct unfavorable balance of trade, etc. Petroleum products. Petroleum products were the most affected commodities in terms of exports from India, with a decline of 32%. The highest exposure of COVID-19 on Indian sector relates to products that makes around 18% of India's total export basket. That is the textile, clothing, and transportation sectors. The MSME sector. Most of the people in India started their own businesses during the pandemic since they lost their jobs or the breadwinner of their families. From beginning of the planned economy in 1951, the MSME sector had contributed. There are over 6,000 which are traditional and technologically advanced items which are manufactured in India. This sector has shown has shown a very promising growth. The share percentage of MSME sector in total GAV and in total GDP is continuously increasing. In order to steer the economy, the government should come up with a comprehensive policy for this very sector. It is identified the policy made by the government are not directly targeting the MSME sector, and the revival strategy made by the government for this sector are strangely limited and are not enough for the revival of this sector. Suggestion to revive our Indian economy. The International Monetary Fund's growth forecast for India in 2021 is 12.5% compared to a negative 8.8% in 2020 and will settle at 6.9% in 2022. India's growth prospects in the midst of COVID-19 pandemic compared to China seems better. Since there are more mutations on a daily basis now and a huge surge in the number of positive cases, we need to have a strong assessment of the trade-off between lockdown, economic activity, and livelihood. Economic activities need to be quickly adapted to the pandemic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Parth Gandhi, for your presentation. Now, Mr. Saurabh Gupta will be presenting.
Hello, my name is Saurabh Jagdish Gupta. My roll number is 19. I am from BMS. My topic is to study strategies for improving small scale enterprises in India, and my mentor is Assistant Professor Ajay Gupta, sir. First is abstract and figure. Purpose. In the present scenario of e-globalization, small scale industries are considered engine for economic growth all over the world. After market globalization, SSIS are facing many pressures and constraints to sustain their competitiveness. The purpose of this paper is to examine various issues in context of India SSIS, such as nature of pressures and constraints, competitive priorities, competencies, development, areas of investment, and their relationship with performance, etc. Second, objectives. There are three types of objectives like expansion. Expansion is one of the form of internal growth of business. Second, diversification. Diversification is the most common form of internal growth of business, and last one is joint value. And introduction. The data intensive evidence shows that growth of micro and small scale entrepreneurship is a crucial ingredient in sustainable development of developing economics. In Ethiopia, The importance of this sector is noticed on different documents like different policies, MSSE development strategy, and the growth and the transformation plans. And second, to accelerate growth and reduce poverty. And the other one is literature review. Today's intense competition requires that firms excel simultaneously in several areas without trade-off, including innovationness and responsiveness to their customers. Recent global competition has compelled the firm to increase performance standard in many decisions such as quality, cost, productivity, product introduction time, and smooth flowing operations. Main content as means of data analysis, both descriptive and multiple regression analysis based on ordinary last sequence estimation were applied. To do so, STATA software version 13 was used for statistical treatment. The data for this study were obtained from the Micro and Small Scale Enterprises Survey 2018. Research and methodology, data type and source. The study used both primary and secondary data. The primary data were collected from selected micro and small enterprises in Assosa zone in 2018 GC. Besides, secondary data were collected from documents available in Assosa zone micro and small enterprises agency and record of enterprise under investigation. Suggestion: organizational communication, open organization, intergroup communication. The communication system sustains sideway information transfer, reduce passive accumulation of information per point. Organizational performance, organizational efficiency and effectiveness, economic stability, reduces dynamic and resources. References. The link has given in the following PPT presentation. You can visit this link and go to the main page. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Saurabh Gupta, for your presentation. Now, Ms. Shruti Jadhav will be presenting her presentation.
Hello, my name is Shruti Jadhav from BMS. My topic for research paper is to study the marketing strategy for entrepreneurship with reference to Apple company. The abstract and objectives are: this paper specifically analyzes the modern company advertising and marketing scenario of Apple company by combining the marketplace discipline of Apple and reading the marketing strategy of Apple. Objectives are to analyze Apple marketing and to study environmental analysis of Apple's operation. I'll give you a quick introduction to this research paper. Apple is one of the leading companies in the industry. It was ranked number 1 in the 100 most valuable brands of 2011. At the same time, its profits showed this year ranking 8th first among the world's top 10 companies. Apple is unquestionably number 1 in terms of electronic devices. SWOT analysis of Apple company. Every company has its own strength, weakness, opportunity, threat. Apple has its own. Now we'll talk about environmental analysis of Apple's operation. In order to maintain its competitive position, Apple has always attached great importance to research and development of product and the market. Marketing methods and strategies of Apple. Hunger marketing strategy, experimental marketing strategy. Steps of Apple's company of marketing, making use of consumer psychology of seeking new and different, and application of new technologies. Research methodology. This information has been taken and studied from secondary data. The aim of this research paper is to study and analyze the marketing strategy of Apple company. The marketing of Apple product is done in a very intelligent. To conclude this paper, I'll talk about Apple's constant technology innovation continues it on the top position, giving it time to gain cost and compete for the next round. Apple has also mastered a sales approach that makes it extra profitable than other organizations. These are some suggestions for Apple company. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Shruti Jadhav, for your presentation. Now, Ms. Prachi Jain will be presenting her presentation.
Good morning. My name is Prachi Jain. I'm from TYBMS Marketing. My roll number is 21. My mentor is Ajay Gupta, sir, and my topic for research paper is to study the challenges faced by an entrepreneur in hotel management. So we can start with the introduction. Hospitality is about serving the guests to provide them with feel good effect. It refers to process of receiving and entertaining a guest with a goodwill. But nowadays, the hotel industry is globally dealing with vast set of major challenges like labor shortage and retaining quality personnel, rising technology demand, providing and maintaining absolute cleanliness, etc., and many more. So, the objectives of this topic are to examine the challenges facing by hospitality industry, to determine the factors responsible for slow growth of industry, to determine the factors that can enhance the growth of hospitality industry. So let's start with literature review. Hotel is a building, symbol, company, or business entity that provides services, accommodation, good food, and privileges providers and other service facilities where all the service are intended for the people, whether they are staying overnight at the hotel or those who use the facilities. Hotel is a building that provides rooms with supporting facilities such as good food and beverage. Hotel is defined as an establishment whose primary business is providing lodging for facilities for general public which furnish one or more of the following service. So the content, let's talk about the content. On the main challenge on the main challenges business face competition, insecurities, debt collection, lack of working capital and power were reported as top 5 challenges facing as micro and small business. Competition was ranked as the most pressing 38%, followed by insecurities and lack of credit with 18% and 7% of the respondents, respectively. However, it is important to note whereas the competition has acknowledged by majority of respondents. Security threats pose a great challenge to this business, and many business owners and managers employ various means to help prevent or determine would be criminals. The hotel and hospitality industry is considered labor intensive, being in a service sector. With the mean of 3.8 and standard deviation of 1.889, the majority of respondents were of the opinion that training and good communication were relevant skill for the task. Let's come on conclusion. It is important to be ahead of the pack by tackling these major issues. Hoteliers and hospitality measurements need to keep themselves on the edge while tackling the issues. People plan ahead to ensure that you can outfit their competition every single time. Remember, failing to plan is planning to fail. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Prachi Jain, for your presentation. Now, Mr. Hiram Jomraj will be presenting his presentation.
My name is Hiram Jumraj. The topic is Entrepreneurship Education in India, Emerging Trends and Concerns. Role number 22, Mentor Ajay Sir. Abstract. The age-old way of classroom teaching is gradually washing out because enforcement of globalization, the pyramid of education from elementary to university needs to be modified. In order to expect and face the uncertainties and business cycle well in advance, there is need of transformation of century-old traditional classroom based teaching to entrepreneurial industry institutions, interactive, innovative industries. Best we can produce the market, goods, and how needs of the hearts. A successful entrepreneur can safeguard the several numbers of employee and create newer jobs to the market. The paper focus on the need of entrepreneurship based education, implementation and skill in India. Keywords: globalization, entrepreneurial, human resource, education, entrepreneurship. Introduction. Education has long been regarded as one of the primary components of poverty reduction efforts, social development, The government are setting specific national education goals, including gender-related targets like International Labour Organization. The economic investment of government in education training will be wasted long if young people do not move into productive jobs that enable them to pay taxes and support public services. Entrepreneurship, education, training are the two driving forces behind phenomenon of entrepreneurship and small business development that generates relevant entrepreneurship attitude. This has been recognized in the article Alan that a small business will create majority of jobs compared to the big businesses in the traditional system education, and the students are stuck outdated of teaching. As a result, students do not get an entrepreneurial education and exposure in competitive world. Entrepreneurship and innovation are rapidly great demand for imparting entrepreneurship education worldwide, including India. The word entrepreneur and entrepreneurship are generally attributes to the Richard Cantillon for coining the word in his essay initiated essay sur la nature du commerce, which was written in 1732 and published in 1755. Finance logistics are the common phenomenon across the globe, students exchanging programs, adoptions of circular from Western University, international mobility, obtaining entrepreneurship education and training methods are the primary condition to become a successful entrepreneur. Present study is based on journal-related entrepreneurship like Journal of Global Entrepreneurship, Journal of Small Business Management, International Journal of Entrepreneur Education, Theory and Practice, Government of India Report and Entrepreneurship. The information has been obtained from educations and entrepreneurship related website through online. Main topics. The following objectives is to know the entrepreneurship and the business education in general, to understand existing entrepreneurship related, to study the challenges of entrepreneurship. The concept of entrepreneurship education. The best employer in the world over will be looking for the most component, most creative, most innovative people on the face of the earth, and will be willing to pay them top dollars in their services. This will be true not because for the professional and managers, but up and down the length and breadth of the workforce. Those countries that produce the most important new products and services can capture a premium in the world market that will enable to pay high wages to their citizens. Entrepreneurship pyramid. Level 1 agriculture and other activities, production, plantation, forestry, livestock, fishing, mining. Level 2 of the pyramid. Trading services, wholesale and retail trade, hotels and restaurants. Level 3. Old economy and traditional sectors, manufacturing, electricity, gas and water. Level 4. Emerging sectors including knowledge intensive sectors, IT, finance, insurance, business, service, constructions. Conclusion. The globalization is expecting the education from the developing countries in such a way that human researchers will be not understand the concept of business cycles, which should be an easily expected the business cycle. Mass production and the mass consumption is another feature of globalization process. The international mobility of resources will scale. Knowledge as another part of globalization, the traditional system of countries like India need to be overhauled to the needs of globalization. Thus, the Indian needs to be entrepreneur-based education which is inevitable in order to create more jobs. The long-term impact of entrepreneurship education certainly gives fruitful results by the way of sustained economic growth, reducing poverty and creation of more employment. Therefore, the country like India should be have an open-minded allocation of funds and funds for entrepreneurship education. The country, the education system in 21st century is more interdisciplinary oriented, and this has been forced a country like India to adopt the entrepreneurship education suggestions. Said the model of entrepreneurship education to combat poverty. Disclosed that the need of harmony, coordination of school education, entrepreneurship education is possible only with the support of following elements. First, regulatory setup, national policy on education, government initiation, economic policy of the country, and stakeholders. To learn entrepreneurship skills, effective teaching, training in entrepreneurship education, no gap should be between theory and practicals. Able to understand the business cycles easily, should be motivated, leader, and have knowledge and sharing person. Literature review. Education is product of experience. It is a process through which the experience of example knowledge, skills and attitude are transmitted to the members of the community. Education is often regarding as learning. It is acquired through experience of any short intellectual, emotional or senses motor. Education proceeds from birth to date, and the school is not only agency that imparts education because child also learns things from various sources like home media, peer groups, environment. Life involves constant continuous modification of experience. Ideas can change attitudes and skills undergoes an alteration generation, but the main point to emphasis has always been on the mental physical growth of individuals. UNESCO Inter-Regional Seminar of Promoting Entrepreneurship Education 2008 defined as entrepreneur education is made up how to access and transform opportunities of different kinds. It goes beyond business creation. It is also about students' ability to entrepreneurship education for developed countries. For the developed countries, it is way to develop positive attitude towards entrepreneur and self-employment. Entrepreneurship education is training which allows student reference.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hiram Jomraj, for your presentation. Now, Mr. Jayesh Joshi will be presenting his presentation.
Good morning. My name is Jayesh Joshi. Today's topic is the role of small scale enterprise solving unemployment problems. So moving forward, concept. A concept of this presentation shows the effect of SMEs in lessening the issue of unemployment in small scale enterprise. It features the principal factor influencing the improvement and open position creation. There is expanding proof that SMEs assume a fundamental part in financial improvement in small scale enterprise. So SME give most new position an amazing dose and produce large part of innovativeness that leads monetary advancement. So keyword of my presentation are unemployment, small scale enterprise, small medium enterprise, and economic turn of events. So let's begin with introduction. In economics, unemployment occurs when people are without work while actively searching for employment. Where wherever all through the world more limited size close to nothing and medium endeavors are considered as spine of a country. They accept the critical occupation in monetary improvement and make a basic obligation to business and GDP and are fundamental allies of complete work and business creation. Decentralization of industrial activity can bring up employment opportunities. Literature review. Literature review is like joblessness is considered a significant requesting situation that is going through the Middle Eastern world due to the awful impact, both socially and monetarily, a domination and ascending from wherever. During the last year, that thumbs up caution is regard to joblessness, result of our Arab nation's security. Yet, joblessness rate is day by day expanding seriously. This paper has few respectable checks of circumstance in Center East. The Belgian the Belgian region has completed close to traditional number one instructive movement from 1970. So SMEs contribute to reduce unemployment. So little and medium organization play a main part inside the action creation method. Observe a huge extent of assembling of labor from a few levels like thereof SME adds to elevation of joblessness inconvenience as appropriately as ensuring the manageability of money related advancement. This sort of foundations is viewed as a huge productive inventory in the undertaking presentation framework, since it depends at acceleration of dislike and gignetic organization. So coming to conclusion. Conclusion of my presentation is that unemployment is a serious and important challenge which need to be looked and removed from a country. Government should implement job opportunities for young youth who are willing to work. Plus, there should be more job opportunities in rural areas to a system of giving opportunity of interview. Course should arrange for the youth to motivate even if they aren't employed. So, thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jayesh Joshi, for your presentation. Now, Mr. Aman Khan will be presenting his presentation.
Greetings to everyone. My name is Aman Khan. I am from Thakur Shyamnarayan Degree College. My mentor is Professor Ajay Gupta. And my topic for the research paper is strategies for improving small scale enterprises. So let us start. Entrepreneurs in small scale sector are normally not required to obtain a license either from the central government or the state government for setting up units in any parts of the country. Importance of small scale industries. Let's begin. Helps reshaping the productive sector, creating an environment for entrepreneurship, promotes innovation. Let's move to the classification. Traditional SSI, it includes khadi and handloom, village industries, handicrafts, etc. Let's move to the modern SSI. Modern SSIs produce wide range of goods such as television sets, electronics control system, etc. Now let's move to the main content. Small scale industry sector holds key to economics prosperity of the Indian economy. The small scale industry has grown phenomenally during the last 6 decades. Let's move to the conclusion. Indian SSIs has cost advantages in comparison to their global competitors. Cost, quality, and to reduce delivery time are the main pressures on SSIs. Now let's move to the suggestions. Market research, welfare of employees, research and development are top ranking areas for making investments. Therefore, this was my research paper and the research on the topic of strategies for improving small scale industries. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Aman Khan, for your presentation. Now, Sagar Kunbi sir will be presenting his presentation.
Hello everyone, myself Sagar Kunbi, a faculty member of BMS department, and my topic for today is a study on factors affecting students' attitude towards entrepreneurship in India. There are many researchers, many academics who has done the research on this topic regarding people's attitude towards entrepreneurship. See, entrepreneurs basically what they do is they come up with new and innovative ideas and they turn that ideas into a profitable business, okay, which in turns boost the economy. Now, why not start up with an early stage by providing students education, by focusing more on students and then on the topic of entrepreneurship. Why? Because we have seen that there are many graduates in the market with no jobs available with them. This shows that there is shortage of entrepreneurship in the market of India. Okay, new entrepreneurs will decide the development that has to be made in the future. Okay, see, there are many seminars, conferences, workshops that has been organized not only in India but around the world, but more and more active participation should be taken regarding this matter. Now let's move ahead with various factors that affects the students' attitude towards entrepreneurship. First is supportive university environment. Okay. Next is gender. Then we have awareness, entrepreneurship education, personal, family and peer influence, financial insecurity, and level of country's development. Entrepreneur attitude. There are two subdivisions of this, that is possibilities and limitations. Now these are the positive points where the qualities or the points that an entrepreneur or a businessman should have. First is he should be innovative. See, their lifestyle and life goals also affects the entrepreneurship attitude. They should have self-belief, they should be competitiveness, innovative, they should be curious, imaginative, creative, and it also helps them to be independent. Next is limitations. These are negative points. First is financial regulations, risks, support measures, environment, national culture, social norms, image of entrepreneur, and administrative barriers. Next is objective of the research. The two main objective of the research is to study about various factors affecting students' attitude towards entrepreneurship to create awareness among students regarding entrepreneurship. Research methodology. This research is primarily based on secondary data. Here desk research is done by summarizing and collecting all the existing data from libraries, websites, and all the data which are done from existed survey, okay, to increase the overall efficiency of this research. Now, for primary method, a questionnaire was prepared through Google survey, and findings and conclusion was also based on that. The limitation to this is not all the students of India have given their survey, so there was the sample size is very low as compared, and time constraint is also a factor that act as a limitation in this research. The survey questions asked to them were first some demographic questions like age group and gender. Since it was basically focused more on students, the level of education choices was given were bachelor's and master students only. The next question asked was, what was the first time you learned about the term entrepreneurship? See, and many respondents have replied that in the school section only, that is secondary section also only, they have learned about the term entrepreneur. Next question was, according to you, what are the qualities should an entrepreneur possess? That entrepreneur should be innovative, he should be creative, imaginative, competitive, and curious. Which following factors do you consider that act as a positive impact on attitude towards students of entrepreneurship? See, positive factors involve risk taker. He should have self-belief in himself. He should have knowledge about the market, and very important, he should be ethical, because this helps to create the image of the society. Image in the society. Which of the following factors do you consider that has a negative impact of attitude of students towards entrepreneurship? So options given to them were gender, lack of family and peer support, financial instability, possibility to fail, and bad image of entrepreneurs in society. The last question was just to get to know the idea whether the students are interested to be an entrepreneur or not. So the question asked for, if given an opportunity in life, would you like to be an entrepreneur? We have found that respondents of both the gender, where 48.2% of respondents were male and 51.8% of them were female. Now 87.8% of respondents age ranged between 18 to 22, while the rest of age were between 23 to 30. As it was mainly focused on education level, 92.9% of respondents were bachelor students and 7.1% of them were master students. Now many students have already known about the term entrepreneurship in secondary school section only. And the respondents also do believe that competitiveness, innovativeness, creativity, and imaginative ideas are the skill sets which an entrepreneur needs to have. He should also be curious, he should be risk bearer, he should have knowledge about the whole market, and he should be ethical. Now, conclusion and suggestion. From the above research, we can conclude that students have already known the concept of entrepreneurship, and in the universities and colleges, they have been provided with theoretical and practical knowledge about them. Now, limitations which was given by respondents were lack of family and peer support. Why? Because of financial instability that is related to entrepreneurship, risk of losing their money, possibility to fail. These two were act as a great limitations. Next, positive includes also, I would say, in case of limitations, there were image of entrepreneurs, existing entrepreneurs. Image of existing entrepreneurs also affect, because many believe that there are many large and famous entrepreneurs who have done fraud. So that image also act as a negative point. Plus point, I would say, positive points includes may improve one qualities of life. It also raises one standard of living, but they frequently experience restlessness as they keep on trying to learn something new. Okay, they have a positive image in the society and in the community, which directly or indirectly affects countries' economics positively, and frequently makes a difference in the whole world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sagar Kunbi sir, for this presentation. It was an extraordinary presentation. Now, as the technical session 3 has come to an end, we'll be taking a short 10-minute break. Thank you.